Well, in our county, we were able to fortunately work out a countywide arrangement where no matter what school you're in Washtenaw County, the costs for the Michigan virtual school classes are the same, and they're also lower because of that arrangement. And the students are able to sign up for the classes. They range in cost from about $220 to $335, but that cost is covered by the schools. So it's another cost that's just picked up by the high school or the middle school that the student's enrolling in.
So it's up to the individual to school to decide whether or not that's a priority and whether they should spend money on this or not.
Yes.
Okay. And throughout the district, how many? I don't know how many total schools there are. And how many are participating? Do you happen to know that?
Statewide?
Yeah.
We have over 500 high schools that we work with. 21 ISDs are in a partnership like Naomi just described, where we provide some volume pricing in working in partnership with the ISD so the local schools benefit from the best pricing options. So we there's probably about 700 or 800 high schools in the state, just to give you a frame of reference, and we're working with public, non-public, public school academies as well.
So more than half of them are participating at this point in time.
Yes.
What would you say to those that aren't? Just out of curiosity.
Let's talk.
Okay, all right. But you've been very successful over the last decade. So,
we have, yes.
I'm guessing that this is more and more going, the way technology is growing and improving almost on a daily basis. It seems like this would be something that schools more and more would like to have.
Absolutely.
I happen to represent all or parts of 3 counties, Monroe, Washtenaw, and Jackson. Monroe has a unique situation where they passed the technology millage a few years ago, and then probably been close to 10 years, and then renewed it again when it ran out. Are there other counties that have some? I hear that there are a couple out there. I don't know if Washtenaw
we do
has
not
it or
have
not.
a technology millage that is funding any of this.
Yeah, I'm not
I
sure,
don't know
but
about
possibly Kalamazoo
Okay.
County has one, I believe.
I know they got that Michigan Promise thing going
Yes.
on. What's it called? Kalamazoo Promise,
Yes.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be nice to have.
But that's very fortunate for Monroe, because that's something that doesn't happen very often.
So we talk about number of schools. How about students? If we went statewide or countywide, do you know how many students we have enrolled right now?
Well, statewide, about 17,000 students have been enrolled in the Michigan Virtual School. In your area of Washtenaw and Monroe and that portion of Jackson County, I think by the end of this year, we'll be approaching 1,000 enrollments through these consortium, because we have a similar partnership with Jackson ISD. And so we'd like to do more work in Monroe County, but in those 3 counties, that's a fairly substantial number of students that are taking advantage of the program.
Well, before I left for Lansing this morning, I went to the YMCA and did my treadmill kind of work, and the Monroe County ISD superintendent, Don Spencer, was in the machine next to me. So the next time I'll have to
You'll have to ask
so
him.
that we start the machines at the same time, and he's going to have to hear a 30 to 60 minute commercial about it, maybe, huh?
Great,
Right.
great.
We could do that. I was wondering about the certifications of teachers in
Yes.
Michigan. Do they have to go through some kind of a program too?
If you're teaching in any of the Michigan virtual school classes, you are a certified Michigan teacher. So you meet all of the same highly qualified status requirements that a regular classroom teacher would, including that you have your degree in that particular subject area and that you have your teaching certificate.
Okay, so they're all certified teachers.
Right.
All right, very good. I understand that Michigan Virtual Schools courses for high schools are offered in 3 different styles, but I didn't really understand what those styles were. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure.
Okay.
We have what we would call a semester-paced style, which is a pretty traditional format. Teacher leads the class, sets all the due dates, so students kind of work as a cohort group through those courses. And advanced placement classes, for example, operate in that fashion.
Okay.
Our most popular style is what we call Flex, and that's something that's unique to Michigan Virtual. And what it is the entire curriculum, but students have the opportunity to work at their own pace, so they don't have to wait for the exams, they don't have to wait for other students to complete certain portions of the course. They can move through the course at their own speed. And that is very popular with high school students who are engaged in all kinds of other activities, and very difficult sometimes for them to meet a certain schedule. And then we have one other format that we use, and that is a course that is courseware only, where a student can enter that course and spend 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever length of time, and particularly students in a credit recovery that need to pick up a credit for graduation or want to kind of catch up. That format seems to work quite well.
Okay.
But our main model is involving a Michigan certified teacher in the course.
Okay, very good. Now, these are all in classrooms in the schools. Do they do them at home? How does that part work?
Well, again, it depends on how each school has organized it, but typically there will be a mentor teacher at the local site who will be there, and this is a certified teacher, so maybe they're sitting in their school media center with the media specialist or in a classroom with a teacher. And the students are able to then sign up for the courses that they need. And I think, to dovetail a little bit off of what Bob just said, in our county, most of the courses that our students are taking are for the Michigan Merit Curriculum. They're courses that are required courses that they need to graduate. I'd say at least half or more fall into that category. We also have a number of students who are taking classes that are in areas of interest to them. They're playing around with, maybe this is an area they're going to go to college for. I noticed looking at our courses that the kids are taking things like bioethics or Native American history and culture, mathematics of baseball.
Right.
The class on statistics, another way to come at the math instruction. So they're also taking a lot of classes just because they're really interested. And I also have to say, one more important course that you see students taking in our region are language courses. A lot of language courses. And I think if you look at like a district like Manchester is an area where I know that you have part of your constituency.
Sure.
That's a very small school district. They can't afford to have, not just a German teacher and a Spanish teacher, but a Latin and a French and a Mandarin Chinese teacher. So this allows those students who are really interested in a foreign language to pretty much select any language that they'd like to learn. And we have a lot of our students doing that.
Okay, very good. Do you sometimes benchmark Washtenaw against other counties, or do you talk to other counties that do the same kind of thing?
We often do, and in fact, our Washtenaw County contract with Michigan Virtual University is also with Livingston County. So I actually, a benchmark for us to Livingston is very easy. But then I will frequently talk to colleagues around the state to see how they're doing.
And you, of course, have talked to all of them anyways, right?
That's true. And as a matter of fact, these 21 ISDs I referred to, we're really working hard to facilitate webinars amongst them to not only talk about what concerns or issues they might be having, with us or with our courses or what their students are facing, but to really exchange some best practices and how best it's working for their students. And we're going to hold probably about 4 or 5 of those this year and invite people from all over the state. They're all the way from the UP down to Monroe. So
is this like a webinar? Is that like a seminar on the web?
Right. Yeah.
Very good.
Very good.
Bad, huh? I'm sorry.
But it really allows a lot of participation that way.
Let's say that I'm a parent that has school-age children, and I want my children to have, virtual school courses. What would I do if they're not in my school district?